lots of questions about what's next for PepsiCo. Do they spin off the bottlers? Do they split up? But at the same time, with players like Amazon and Walmart asserting themselves in the market, there's an argument for scale. How soon before you think we see which way the new CEO goes?
I think this is a very important question every time there's a transition, because first of all, a CEO gets to make their big footprint over 10 years. In this case, it's been a little bit more than 10 years. But the environment is changing very fast. In fact, the rate of change in the environment is so fast that you're seeing a lot of CEO turnover these days because the rate of change is so fast. In this case, the distribution channels are changing dramatically, and people's tastes are changing. And what used to be backward-looking market research dictating decisions has to be now forward-looking market research, inductive market research. This is a very delicate area, and the new CEO should be forward-looking and make some bold moves as early as possible in his tenure.
So, Bill, how quickly can the new CEO act, given that Indra Nooyi was so visible, so well known, in place for so long? Should he move quickly to make any changes, or perhaps wait a while to get his feet under him?
Well, first of all, it's nice to see a CEO, John, going out on top. We've had so many going out under stress, and here's one that's done an extraordinary job. I anticipate that Ramon is going to carry on her vision. They've worked together for years when he was in Europe, and he's a lifer with PepsiCo, and I don't expect any radical change. In terms of the questions that Fred raises and the distribution channels, I think that argues very strongly for keeping the company together. I know in the case of Walmart that's been a very big help in the companies like Carrefour in Europe. Having a lot of clout with distributors gets a lot more attention to PepsiCo's brands. I think they've got 22 brands over $1 billion. And so I don't see change. And Indra, in terms of consumer taste, this is exceptionally important, and she was ahead of her time. She saw this coming in 2006, and I think that Ramon, to move, should continue moving faster with the whole change in consumer taste to the millennials. You have to meet the baby boomers' taste, but with the millennials' taste changing, I think they've been a leader in that. So I anticipate he will continue on this course. It's a very positive course. And the other thing I think is very significant here is this is a true global team. It's probably the greatest global team. I think I counted of their 29 top people, 13 were born outside the United States, 8 are women, American women mostly, not all. But and so building that team out and having a global franchise that can really penetrate the emerging markets in the way Unilever has done would be high on my agenda. And I think they've done that, but they need to continue to get deeper there.
And Fred, just to that point, usually when you see a very successful CEO say that they're going to step aside, you'll see the stock sell off. PepsiCo is up 1.5% right now. You think that's an investor vote of confidence in the new CEO?
Absolutely. As Bill said, this guy was in the CEO in waiting. So he'll make the right transition. He knows about the company. He knows the future. My only advice would be that there is a lot of change in the environment, and since his tenure is going to be measured 5 years out, 7 years out, 10 years out, the earlier he makes his fundamental moves, the better, especially since he's already inside the company. So he knows a lot of things that need to be changed.
Bill, any reason to believe he thinks differently than Indra about whether drinks and snacks belong together?
No, I have no reason to think that. I think, Harold, that's kind of very deeply embedded in PepsiCo, and it's not just Indra. That goes quite deep. And I think Nelson Peltz is coming around to that, and he's focusing more on Procter & Gamble and GE, which have much bigger problems. No, I think the investor sign of confidence is that there aren't a lot of big problems here and that they're moving forward and they aren't going to make radical change. But, today it's a global market, and you've got to move very aggressively. And if I were talking to Ramon, I'd say move faster to get to new brands like you've done, like Naked Juice, things like that the millennials want. More small brands that can become billion-dollar brands with your distribution, and then move aggressively in the emerging markets. That's where the real future opportunities are going to lie.
Yeah, I guess Indra herself has said that she would have perhaps moved faster if she had it to do again. So whatever the new CEO does will probably look like change.
Well,
Fred,
you got to give her credit
thanks.
for being tenacious and withstanding a lot of challenges. And this is a very, she can be charming, but she can also be very strong. And it takes that to run a global company and to go for 12 years these days. It's
Absolutely.
not so common, and I hope that I hope her voice will be very strong in leadership circles and diversity circles, and I hope that we're not going to see her playing golf in Florida as much as we're going to see her really. Nothing against golf in Florida, Fred, but really leading in the way Fred has been, very involved. And I think it's really important that these past CEOs, look at Fred Hassan, has been so involved in so many things. I hope that Indra will be that kind of, if you will, thought leader and influence leader in our society, because we need it, particularly after her great record.